You know, if you want to build a magnificent new building, you first have to clear out the site, right? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're exploring how we can act as the architects of our own lives. Sometimes, to build a better, more intentional future, we first need to clear out the clutter of the past. We're going to take a really hard look at the screens in our lives and discover how to curate our digital world to maximize actual, real-world value.
So, let's just be honest for a second. Are you controlling your technology, or is your technology controlling you? The next time you reach for your phone, ask yourself, is it because you have a specific, purposeful task you need to accomplish, or is it just a reflex to numb boredom? So many of us are just walking around with this low-grade feeling of constant distraction, right? We're letting algorithms entirely dictate our attention. Before we jump into a solution, we really have to evaluate whether we're the masters of our tools or just servants to our screens.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap and see exactly how we can move from digital chaos to a highly structured lifestyle. We're going to cover 1. The digital distraction problem, 2. The 30-day digital declutter, 3. Setting tech operating procedures, 4. Reintroducing tech with purpose, and finally 5. Your minimalist action plan.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the digital distraction problem and the true cost of our constant connectivity. Now, what's really interesting here is the ultimate casualty of all this distraction. It's not just about wasted time, it's the loss of our capacity for deep work. Deep work is that concentrated effort that requires intense focus. It's literally how we solve hard problems, create meaningful art, or push those major projects over the finish line. When your phone buzzes every 3 minutes with a new notification, deep work becomes absolutely impossible. Constant digital distraction is directly cannibalizing our highest-level cognitive abilities.
But there is a way out. We solve this by adopting digital minimalism. And look, the crucial thing to understand is that this isn't just about throwing your smartphone in the trash and moving off the grid. It's way smarter than that. It's a philosophy of aggressive curation. It helps us use technology intentionally, allowing it into our lives only for things that truly, undeniably serve our core values. Everything else, it gets cut. Of course, as Elias Behrens discovered when he tried to understand his own relationship with technology, cutting back is a serious struggle. As he put it, it's absolutely easier said than done. Our brains are literally wired for these quick dopamine hits, so pulling away from that digital slot machine in our pockets can feel overwhelming. This perfectly validates why we can't just rely on sheer willpower. We need a concrete plan.
Which brings us to Section 2, the 30-day digital declutter. Think of this as a complete reset for your digital life. This reset is heavily inspired by the work of Cal Newport. But to even start, we have to clearly define what makes a technology optional. Optional tech is anything whose temporary removal would not harm or significantly disrupt the daily operation of your professional or personal life. We're talking about those specific social media apps, streaming platforms, video games, or maybe compulsive news checking. If losing it for a month won't get you fired or mess up essential family logistics, it is officially optional. So here is the exact 3-step procedural journey you're going to take over the next month. Step 1, identify all that optional tech we just talked about. Step 2, ruthlessly remove it from your life for exactly 30 days. Delete the apps, block the sites, unplug the consoles. And Step 3, which is honestly the most important part, you have to actively explore analog activities. Because look, during this 30-day reset, the goal isn't just to sit in an empty room, white-knuckling your way through phone withdrawals. You have to substitute the mindless scroll of digital clutter with the aggressive exploration of higher-quality analog activities. Read a physical book, build something with your hands, join a local club, or just have a face-to-face conversation. You're intentionally filling that vacant time with things that actually provide lasting fulfillment.
All right, Section 3, Setting Tech Operating Procedures. This is all about creating rules for the essential tech.
Because during the declutter, we obviously don't just abandon all tech, right? We still have jobs. But for the essential tools we have to keep, we need strict operating procedures. Here are some concrete methods you can use right now. First, time blocking. Dedicate specific windows for tech use rather than leaving it open-ended all day. Next, optimizing environments. Maybe your laptop stays in the home office and never ever comes into the bedroom. And finally, digital friction. Use app blockers or simply hide addictive apps off your home screen so you actually have to search for them. We are consciously building roadblocks for our worst habits.
The whole point is setting really aggressive boundaries. For example, no emails from 10 to 12. Why? So you can use this time to actually work on your projects. You are setting a hard boundary to protect your deep work from the relentless demands of the inbox. If you don't dictate how and when you use your essential tech, trust me, the tech is going to dictate it for you.
Let's move to Section 4, Reintroducing Tech with Purpose, using the strict minimalist standards.
So at the end of the 30 days, you don't just go back to your old ways. You enter this highly structured reintroduction phase where you hold every single piece of optional tech up to the light. This is your first critical filter. Does the technology serve something you deeply value? You're forcing yourself to check if an app actually aligns with your core purpose. If you value keeping in touch with extended family, does a certain social media app actually accomplish that? Or does it just make you feel connected because you double-tapped a photo? Demand a high standard of value.
Now, if it passes that first test, you interrogate it even further. Is it the best way to serve this value? Back to that family example. Sure, the app lets you see their updates, but is it really the best way? What if, instead of scrolling their feed, you instituted a bi-weekly phone call or a regular Sunday dinner? We often find there is a far better, higher quality analog way to achieve that exact same goal completely without the digital baggage.
Finally, if it somehow passes those first two filters, it faces one last test. Have you outlined operating procedures for how and when you will use this technology? You absolutely must demand strict rules before you allow anything to permanently return to your newly decluttered life. If you decide you genuinely need a news app, the procedure might be, I only read it for 15 minutes on my desktop computer after dinner. No rules, no entry.
This perfectly encapsulates the transformed lifestyle we're talking about. The digital minimalist deploys technology to serve the things they find most important in their life and is happy missing out on everything else. That last part is the real game changer. The fear of missing out just vanishes. When your life is full of high-quality, deeply meaningful activities, you literally don't care what trivial digital noise you're scrolling past. You're free.
And that brings us to Section 5, your minimalist action plan. Taking that first step today.
Now that you have the complete blueprint, it is time for you to step into the role of the architect of your own digital future. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to kickstart your journey. What would happen if you removed just one optional tech for 30 days? Just one. How much time would you get back? What projects could you finally start? What relationships could you deepen? The power is entirely in your hands to curate your digital life for value. Start small, set your rules, and reclaim your focus. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. And hey, I highly encourage you to start your 30-day reset today.